as principal at South, and they have such a shortage that they put them all in the commons in their classes, and it's just a study hall because they have no teachers. Sometimes they'll have 8 classes in there. Wow, because they're that short. Teachers, terrible.
Yeah, we got a lot of providers out right now too.
Yeah.
Of course, they call me as it's an outbreak. I don't know what to tell you, man. It's everywhere.
Yeah, I went through City Hall too and took us all out systematically.
There's a deal I saw in the good study where it was reputable that one of the biggest problems we're having right now is that everyone's wearing masks the last 2 years, so no one had exposures.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So now that we don't have, we didn't have that, our immune systems are down.
Immune systems are shot. Yeah. We've even canceled some surgeries have been canceled. Doctors are out. Yeah. But Amazon's still operating too.
We have 1 minute. Can I ask what's happening with the new development off of Woods?
Business clock.
And I was gonna say it's 6 o'clock for mine.
Oh, okay.
It's close to being wrapped up as
Yep.
far as with the development of the infrastructure and they'll be able to start building houses.
The one on Wetlands Way, I love the name of that. What's going on just
We
down?
didn't start yet, Annie's. Everybody was just early. We haven't started.
What's going on with the big poles down here on Concert?
Doing work associated with the substation.
Right.
So they're bringing a new primary, so the lower ones are just the ones that feed, but they're wrapping the cities for redundancy. Those are the new primary feed that gives better redundancy we have now.
So is there a developer for the Wetlands Way?
It's about to record. They're about to become individual lots that are sellable. I keep asking Ed Perlinfine, it's his project, if he's selling them to individual buyers to build with individual custom homes, or if he's doing all of them to one. He says he doesn't know yet. So
So you don't know.
he's yet to decide. So I don't know if it's all going to be one group or several. His last project right there off of Crown and Royal, I'm trying to think of the names of the streets inside, we're all individual builders. And so the homes all look nice and different, which is great. I don't know if he's going to do that again. We'll see. You bet.
I call to order the December 6th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting. Will staff please do a roll call?
Peltier,
Here.
Ayers,
Present.
Kanate,
Present.
Henning, Thomas, Young.
Here.
So we just have one empty seat, is that right? Okay, thank you. The first item is the approval of the November 1st, 2022 Planning Commission public hearing and work session minutes. Any changes or comments? Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second? Second, it's been moved and seconded that the minutes from November 1st, 2022 be approved. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Item D, public hearing for DC 22-05, a new housing chapter for the comp plan. Tonight, we are holding a public hearing regarding a new replacement housing chapter for the comprehensive plan. The meeting will proceed as follows. Disclosures will be read, staff will make a presentation, and then anyone else who wishes to address the issue will be given the opportunity. Members of the public will have 3 minutes each for testimony. We normally offer a rebuttal to the applicant, which in this case is the city. Commissioners may ask questions of the staff or anyone else who testifies. I now call to order the public hearing at 6:03. Sheena, please read the disclosure statement.
All persons testifying will be deemed parties to the application and must provide their name and full mailing address. The City Development Code specifies applicable criteria to be relied upon in making a decision. Those criteria and findings of fact are in the city staff report.
Thank you. Matt, staff report, please.
Okay. Thank you, Chair, fellow commissioners. Matt Straight presenting this evening for staff. For the record, we have no one online. So you've seen this before in your advisory committee capacity, but tonight we are working on an update to our comprehensive plan. We are starting to nibble at doing the whole comprehensive plan, but it's very expensive to do it all at once, so we're starting one chapter at a time, and this is our first chapter we're starting on. We received a grant from the DLCD specific to housing to update this, which allowed us to work with a consultant, 3J, who is here with us this evening, and helped us put this together and do all the public outreach. So this is going to help us better align with our new development code. And just to make it clear to everybody, we're not proposing any map changes with this chapter. It's just a text-based update to our housing chapter. So the process included public outreach. This was conducted between March and June. This process reached more than 175 community members using an online survey, open house, and a number of community events. As you know, there were 2 advisory committee meetings. Those were held by you, wearing different hats as our advisory committee, and those were open to the public as well. And housing needs assessment was finished earlier this year, and that was considered during the creation of this chapter. So as part of that public outreach, we had basically 3 different themes kind of emerge from that through our public outreach and through our outreach with the advisory committee. And the first was basically that we have to meet state requirements, but we probably shouldn't go overboard and meet anything above and beyond what the state really needs us to do. And so we took that into consideration as we were putting this all together. Second, the policies of the new housing chapter really needed to protect the existing communities from incompatible densities that might be inserted into those communities. And then third, the policies should indeed allow increased densities, but those should be done in a master planned area with transit separate from the existing communities that we have in Millersburg here today. A draft of the new housing chapter was created and distributed to the public and to the advisory committee. You all reviewed that. The second draft, which we have here today in our staff reports, is available for you to review. It's almost identical. We changed very little because the advisory committee didn't have a lot of changes they needed to see made to that. So the draft includes a short overview, 24 policies, some of which were all new, some of which were holdovers from our previous housing chapter. And those are categorized into 3 different categories, which consist of plans for new neighborhoods, retain the quality and character of existing neighborhoods, and housing for all. So what we'll do now is we'll walk through those real quickly. I'm not planning on highlighting and reading out loud every single policy that we're proposing in our housing element, but I did want to go through some of the ones that really express those themes that we talked about, those 3 things that were obviously very important to the public and to the advisory committee. So the first one was planning for new neighborhoods. So let's take a look at that. This group has 9 different policies proposed. You can see here in policy 2 that this requires housing types to be in appropriate locations, part of protecting the communities. Policy 3 requires that the design be compatible with the neighborhoods that they're going into. Policy 7 acknowledges the importance of industry here in our city by expressing the need for a jobs to housing balance and ratio. And lastly, for this category, Policy 9 explains that new density should be within a master plan community with transit and not feathered into the existing communities that we have now in the city of Millersburg. So the second category was retain the quality and character of existing neighborhoods. This category includes 4 different policies. So let's take a look at those. Policy 10, again, requires that single-family housing within the existing community match the character of that community. And then probably one of the most important policies that we have here as far as the public is concerned is Policy 11, which was really a direct response to strong public input on this particular topic. And this policy says, I'll read it out loud, retain the rural character of Millersburg large lot residential lands north of Concert Road and west of Old Salem. So generally that is this area here, which is our 10,000 square foot lots that we have here in the city. We're intending to protect those and make sure that incompatible densities don't get mixed in there. That doesn't mean we can't see some densities that are compatible someday get mixed in there, but not the kind of things like apartments and that level of density. So we're really protecting those existing communities that we have. The last category is provide housing for all, and this category includes 11 different policies. I didn't really have any specific policies I wanted to highlight to the commission here tonight in this category. Most of these are already enforced by our development code. Some of these are holdovers from our previous housing element, and a lot of these are really just echoing requirements of Goal 10 and other state requirements to ensure that we're consistent with the state's requirements. So for the sake of time, I wasn't going to go over each one of the criteria that we have for code revisions. Those are outlined in great detail in your staff report. But I will summarize by saying that the new chapter was analyzed, and it does meet all the criteria outlined in our development code, section 51130. And additionally, our staff report went over how it meets all the state's goals and all the state's specific requirements for housing elements. So with that, that concludes staff's presentation. This is a legislative item, which means that the Planning Commission is making a recommendation to the City Council. And so we have a recommended motion here on the screen, which basically is that. You guys recommending something to our City Council. Myself and the consultant are here if you have any questions on any of these policies or need any more information.
Does anybody have any questions? Any of the policies? We're really very similar. Okay. We're on to public testimony. If you wish to testify during this hearing, please state your address for the record. You will have up to 3 minutes to speak. If you have any written material or other evidence you would like us to see, please provide it to staff who will distribute to the commissioners and the applicant, as well as place it in the record. So testimony for those in favor of the application. Are you planning to testify at all? Okay.
Still no one online, Chair.
Pardon?
There's nobody online.
Thank you. I didn't realize we were still Zooming, but we are.
State law kind of requires us to do it now, so we'll keep it up.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Does any commissioner have questions for the staff or the applicant? One and the same. Okay. The public hearing is now closed at 6:10. Does any commissioner wish to make a comment or make a motion? Motion is there, and there, and there.
I'll make a motion that the planning commission recommend approval of DC 22-05 to the city council.
Thank you. Second, it's been moved and seconded that the planning commission recommend approval of DC 22-05 to the city council. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you all for all those who testified tonight. Any updates? You were going to get us out early, weren't you?
You've seen this before. I didn't want to grill you on it. Nothing really new to update. We didn't have any ministerial items that were approved since we met last. No new partitions or anything like that to talk about. It's been kind of quiet at the front counter as far as applications are concerned. We're hoping to see a lot more industrial activity and applications coming in soon, so we'll see. But right now, we don't have anything in the hopper for our January hearing, so it's looking like that could potentially get canceled because we don't have anything to review. We do want to continue using you in the advisory capacity for other chapters of our comprehensive plan as we're moving forward. And the next one we're probably going to do is our economy chapter, which we have right now. And that's based on a special study that we're still working on completing. And so we really can't jump off yet. But I do think we'll probably end up meeting in February on that, wearing our advisory team hats instead. And we'll kind of brainstorm on what kind of things you'd like to see in that kind of chapter for our comprehensive plan.
Is there any specific reason why we're expecting more industrial applications?
Say that one more time.
Is there any particular reason why we're expecting more industrial applications?
There's been a lot of interest. One of them, which is on the other side of Old Salem here, between the freeway and Old Salem, keeps telling us they're about ready to come in, but we haven't seen an application yet, so we're expecting that any moment. They've been doing a lot of their due diligence as far as their permits with the state are concerned, and so we know that they're serious. They're investing a lot of time and money in that. They've met with us regularly. on small updates to their project, and so we're really expecting that land use application anytime soon. And then, of course, we've been working with the property that we own, selling that to some companies, and we have some letters of intent on that, which could very well turn into land use applications shortly. We'll see, but there's been a lot of interest for certain. Yeah.
I have another question, but it flew out of my head.
Okay. We did get one more application for a planning commission member, and so next time you meet, you might have a new face. Yeah.
Does the intermodule place, do they have a due date? When is that gonna?
They do. Hang on, let him turn his microphone on. So the record can hear him. You guys can all hear him, but the internet can't unless he talks in the microphone.
Yes, they will have a grand opening, actually, next Thursday, the 15th. I believe it's at 10 p.m. with the state.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Did I say p.m.?
You said p.m.
Sorry,
Maybe a late
10
Friday.
a.m. There for that. And then they probably won't see intermodal movements probably until January, February. But it's ready. There should be, the gantry crane should be arriving this month, and then they'll start assembling it. But they can start even without the gantry crane in place. That will be starting then.
Well, I think that the paper said something that it was open, but no water or something like that.
No, it's open. There's just no, they're still working with some of the shipping, getting all the shipping stuff done. So they have a major shipping company that will be one of the main providers for the containers so when they go up, so that should be taking place. Yeah, they have all their water service and everything else. So that's the only thing. They're just waiting for the finalization and go with the shippers. They'll be handling. There was earlier, but actually now they may actually have some storage there because all the, so, a year ago, there was a huge shortage of containers and stuff. And so there was a lot of companies that were building them like mad. And now that things going on in China and everything, and the market's slowing. So that's opened some of that up quite a bit. And then the project that Matt was referring to is Amium. I think we've mentioned to you before, they'll be making a product that's it's carbon, that's CO2 free. They capture the CO2 and it's the CO2 free, and it's they have big contracts with it for operation of power plants in Japan and steel manufacturing with Mitsubishi Industries, I believe. So they should be coming in fairly soon.
Yeah.
Do we think that some of the unsightly by the road stuff along Old Salem will be taken care of once?
Well, when Amium comes in, they'll be required to add some kind of screening to it for sure. And they have to add a landscaping buffer along Old Salem. So yeah, that small stretch of Old Salem will get some cosmetic surgery to it, but that doesn't say anything for the rest of Old Salem.
I know, it looks awful, I think.
Well, with every new project that comes in, that interface will be revised.
Is any of it our responsibility as a city?
Responsibility, no. Within our right-of-way, sure. And we could, of course, plant things within our right-of-way if the city so desired to, but there's
Well,
nothing.
I'm just thinking about
that
cutting
requires
down all
us to.
this old shrub
It's-
stuff.
Old Salem is actually Lynn County's right away, not our right away.
Right.
So, but we have, looked at that as far as where it's coming in. So you probably noticed this summer they did a lot of work in front of the intermodal center and stuff. So I would imagine as Amium comes in, we'll see the rest of that, and then I'll start to be maintained better.
Good, thank you. Thank you. Are there any other agenda items anybody wishes to address? All right, then we are adjourned at 6:19. Thank you for giving me so much gavel stuff. Lots of gaveling tonight. Thank you for coming.